यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्याभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्याभामा जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जमुष्पाद परम प्रवचन कष्टोत्तर डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसे भक्तिवेंत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON founder Acharya BBT founder Acharya Sevra the whole world Jadguru Srila Prabhupada की श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की, श्री श्री निताय गौरंग की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की, वंदे देवी तुलसी महारानी की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, entitled as Conversation between Narada and Vasudeva, text number 36. Sarvam tad idham akyatham, sarvam tadidam akyatham, sarvam tadidam akyatham, yat prishta aham tvaya yet prishtoham tvaya yet prishtoham tvaya janma karma rahasyam me janma karma rahasyam me janma karma rahasyam me bhavata chatma toshanam bhavataschatmastoshanam bhavataschatmatoshanam sarvam tadidamakhyatam et prushtoham tvayanagha janma karma rahasyam me bhavataschatmatoshanam sarvam tadidamakhyatam et prushtoham tvayanagha janma karma rahasyam me bhavataschatmatoshanam. Word to word meaning. Sarvam, all. Tat, that. Idam, this. Akhyatam, described. Yat, whatever. Prishtaha, asked by. Aham, me. Tvaya, by you. Anagha, without any sins. Janma, birth. Karma, activities. Rahasyam, mysteries. Me, mine. Bhavataha, your. Cha, and. Atma, self. Toshanam, satisfaction. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. O Vasudeva, you are freed from all sins. Thus, I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization, as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Please repeat this translation. O Vasudeva, you are freed from all sins. Thus, I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization, as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The process of devotional activities from the beginning to the stage of transcendence is all duly explained to satisfy the inquiries of Vasudeva. He has explained how the seeds of devotional service were sown by transcendental association and how they gradually developed by hearing the sages. The result of such hearing is detachment from worldliness, so much so that even a small boy could receive the death news of his mother, who was his only caretaker, as the blessing of God. And at once he took the opportunity to search out the Lord. A sincere urge for having an interview with the Lord was also granted to him. Although it is not possible for anyone to see the Lord with mundane eyes, he also explained how by execution of pure devotional service one can get rid of the fruitive action of accumulated work, and how he transformed his material body into spiritual one. The spiritual body is alone able to enter into the spiritual realm of the Lord, and no one but a pure devotee is eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. All the mysteries of transcendental realization are duly experienced by Narada Muni himself, and therefore, by hearing such an authority, one can have some idea of the results of devotional life, which are hardly delineated even in the original texts of the Vedas. In the Vedas and Upanishads, there are only indirect hints to all this. Nothing is directly explained there. And therefore, Srimad-Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of all the Vedic trees of literatures. Thus ends Bhaktivedanta purport for this verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chaksharanmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are almost at the end of this chapter, concluding of this chapter, where Narada is giving his summary, or he is concluding his conversation with Vasudeva. So the background for this conversation between Narada and Vyasa is explained in the previous two chapters, where Vasudeva, after compiling all the Vedic literatures, he was not happy, he was not contented, he was not satisfied at the core of his heart. So he was searching for the cause of his dissatisfaction. So at that time, immediately Narada Muni appears there, out of nowhere, suddenly, detecting that my disciple is having some trouble. So to address the Vasudeva's despondency, Narada appears there. And as soon as Narada appeared, Vasudeva recognizes, or he sees Narada Muni approaching him, and he receives Narada Muni and offers respects, and he gives the seat for him to sit. And he inquires, what is the cause of my dissatisfaction? Then Narada Muni explains the instructions on Srimad-Bhagavatam, that you have compiled so many literatures, but you have not directly glorified the Supreme Lord's activities and his name, form, and pastimes in other what you have written already. So it's a time for you to now compile and meditate on the Supreme Lord and compile this great literature called Srimad-Bhagavatam. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining this. Since this Srimad-Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of all Vedic trees of literatures. So Vasudeva already compiled so many literatures, but the final work, which was inspired by Narada to Vyasa to compile this Srimad-Bhagavatam. So that was the context, and Vasudeva was understood that his mistake, and he recognizes Narada's instruction, and he starts compiling Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Vasudeva was not stopped. He further asked about Narada's perfection. How did you become perfect? How did you spiritually achieve perfection? So who are you? What were you? What is your life? So like Vasudeva asked Narada. Then Narada Muni explains about his janma and karma. So Narada is explaining his life or his birth in the previous kalpa, not in the current where they are speaking in the current Kali Yuga, where Narada explains about his previous birth in the past kalpa, where he took birth in a small maid servant family, and from there he begins his past life and how did he actually become Narada. So that is the current chapter what we are discussing. That is a conversation between Narada and Vasudeva. That was from the previous chapter also continuing, but this is specifically addressing Vasudeva's question about his perfection of life in spiritual realization. So that's what in the translation Narada is explaining here, that Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki Srinita Gauranga ki Sarvam tadidam akhyātam yat prishtoham tvayanaga. So whatever you have asked, I have explained in this, in this chapter, means the previous verses where Narada spoke so many verses about his past life and his perfection. So Narada explains his birth and how did he became attached to Bhakti Vedantas. All that was explained in the previous chapter, where his mother was appointed as a maid servant, where the Mahabhagavatas were in the forest traveling, and they were assembled in that spot where actually the Narada who is living in the pastime there. So that time they were stationed for the 4 months of Chaturmasya, and so where Narada Muni in his previous life got opportunity to associate with them, and he explained so many verses that he took permission of their Mahabhagavatas and took Mahaprasadam from them, remnants of food offered to them, and he heard very sincerely the instructions of Mahabhagavatas, and he was slowly attached to them and understanding the glories of the Supreme Lord, pastimes which they were discussing among themselves. So like that, Narada in the past life got attached to Mahabhagavatas, and he gave up all frivolous activities, and he got interested in the spiritual path. So like that, then somehow by destiny, his mother was bitten by a snake, and he did not actually worry much, because he understood it is also the mercy of the Lord that I have to take the spiritual path seriously. So he traveled towards the north and meditated on the Supreme Lord, just the direction given by Mahabhagavatas, and even he got the glimpse of the Supreme Lord for a few minutes. So that is very rare that in the same life he got the glimpse of the Supreme Lord after meditation, and after that Lord disappeared and spoke in the form of sound that I will not be able to appear again. So you have to practice more and purify and follow the process which is given by the Mahabhagavatas. So like that, Narada Muni followed the Mahabhagavatas instructions, and he gave up his life, and the next kalpa he got the body of Narada Muni. That is actually not made up of material elements, which is actually spiritual. So Narada attained the spiritual body in the next life immediately in the following kalpa. So that's what Narada is explaining here. So these are the things Vasudeva asked, and Narada is concluding his conversation with Vasudeva that, oh Vasudeva, you are freed from all sins Tvayanaga. Thus I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. So after hearing Narada Muni's instructions both on Bhagavatam and his personal life and his perfection in life, so Vasudha was completely satisfied and his despondency is vanished, and he could see the cause of all causes of Supreme Lord, and he directly glorified Krishna's activities in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada explains these important points in this purport, that so this conversation about inquiring about imperfection, or inquiring about what is the cause of my imperfection in life, what is causing me for troubles, all this is the prerogative of a human being. Only a human being can inquire, because he can sense there are problems, there are difficulties one is facing, and he can ask and get clarity. He can ask his superiors and get solutions for the problems which everybody is facing or he himself is facing. So that is the nature of human being. He does not sit idle. Okay, whatever is happening in my life, let me struggle and die. No, he inquires what is the solution for all these problems. So that is the quality of a human being. He has a prerogative intelligence to inquire about the fundamental problems of life. So that's why from the childhood to from the childhood we start inquiring about the questions about how we should live, what is best for me, how should I progress, what is the perfection of life. So all this we start inquiring. So this whole world is full of question and answers. Not only human beings, even the animals also start inquiring about so many things about their survival. So they also find out where is food, where is shelter. So all this is all inquiries about survival. So human being also not away from this. So human being also inquires about all the fundamental problems of life and its survival. So that's what in the Srimad-Bhagavatam also explains about this inquiries and hearing, asking and getting solutions, or asking questions and getting answers, this hearing answers. It is said as Shrota Vyadhi. So in the second canto, first chapter, in the second verse it is said, Shrota Vyadhini Rajendra Rinam Santi Sahasrashaha Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Gruhamedinam. So the translation of this verse is, those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of the ultimate truth, they have many subject matter for hearing in human society. Oh Emperor. So Shukadeva Goswami is addressing Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj also asked so many questions. So Shukadeva Goswami actually exalted he actually glorified Parikshit Maharaj's questions. What you asked is, in the previous verse it says, Shri Shuka Vacha, Varya Nesheta Prashnaha Krita Loko Hitam Rupa Atmavit Samhitaha Pumsam Shrota Vyadishi Yah Paraha. Shukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all the transcendentalists. So, as people are engrossed in materialistic life, so their questions are all not glorious. They are only asking about ahara nidra bhayamaitunamcha. So how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to defend. And further they are actually first bothered about their self bodily requirement, then they try for extended selfishness, then community, then nation and international. So they also become envious of others who are having all these facilities. So people are only engrossed in materialistic inquiries and getting solutions for materialistic problems. So that doesn't solve the fundamental problems of life, which will not actually give solution to all problems of life. But when we hear these questions which are asked by the spiritually advanced personalities, when they hear from authorities, those answers will actually satisfy us. That's what Narada is explaining here. For your satisfaction, I have explained these instructions which were discussed in the previous verses. And also people also engrossed in politics, social, movies and so many other things. And attention is distracted by so many other unwanted things in the society also, because people are mad after sense gratification. So people are inventing so many things, so many gadgets, so many fiction movies which will attract, and think that by absorbing in those subject matters they become happy. But actually they are not happy, they are becoming frustrated in their life. That's why we see so many fiction movies like Harry Potter, Superman, Spider-Man. So many collections, so many people go and watch. So just see there is imitation of God's activities, like supernatural powers they showcase in the movies, that he'll protect, he will save the society, he will save the future of the country, future of the world, future of the universe, and there are extraterrestrial beings from other planets and fighting with us. So some Superman comes and stops and fights with them. So these are all attracting to conditioned soul who is engrossed in the materialistic, where he is faced with so many problems, and he seeks solace in somebody who is powerful, who is great. So, so they feel some sense of happiness or some sense of satisfaction by distraction, or these so-called fiction movies, so-called stories, which are actually fiction, which are actually imaginary, which will not actually solve our fundamental problems. Actually, we are all faced with so many real problems in life, and we are artificially, we are also involved in so many other things, which are actually pulling or taking away our vital energy to inquiry, to ask about fundamental problems and get solutions. So, but we miss where to ask or whom to ask these fundamental questions, or finding solutions for our life. So in Prabhupada explains, so Narada is a not ordinary person. Who is he? He is spaceman. He is a transcendental spaceman. So now people are attracted to Iron Man, this man, that man. But people forgot to get attracted to the spaceman. He is actually a transcendental spaceman. So if you get attracted to his janma, his activities, then we can actually become really satisfied, and we can actually attain our ultimate perfection of life. So Narada Muni is also not ordinary man. He is actually having a spiritual body. What they portray in movies and all, it's so much makeup, so much graphics design, so many other artificial movements and speed of light, so many travel there artificially ammunition, so many guns, so much they showcase in the movies. But if you see, Narada Muni is actually having spiritual body. He is not even having a material body. So he can actually travel at his will. Wherever he wants, he can travel. In the movies, we are attracted. In a few moments, he will be in some other building. He will jump to one place to another place. He will travel so speed that he will reach the villain wherever he is. So like that, we are attracted. But if we are attracted to the spiritual personality like Narada Muni, we can actually be really happy. So Narada Muni is having spiritual body, so there is no restriction for his movement in this material world, even beyond this material world. So that is the power of, that is the position of a great devotee like Narada Muni. So he is explaining about his birth, his attainment of spiritual perfection, and if we understand his pastimes, we can get liberated. It's just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chme divyam evam yo veti tattvadaha tvaktva deham punarjanmanaiti mameti soarjuna. So just like Krishna declares, if you understand my birth and my activities, you will not take birth again. You will attain your spiritual perfection. Similarly, same case with the devotees also. If you hear great devotees' birth and activities, the result is same, because they are great devotees. They are like Bhagavan. They are Advaya Jnana. So devotees and Krishna are on the same platform, spiritual platform. So even if you hear about devotees' activities and their birth and their pastime, that also sufficient enough to get liberation from this material world. So now Vasudeva was satisfied because he heard about Narada's birth and his attainment of spiritual perfection, his activities, and how he is delivering so many conditioned souls in this material world. So similarly, our Prabhupada, our Acharya also is not ordinary man. He is also a great Acharya who is coming from spiritual world. And his activities, his birth, even if you understand his Leela, same result will be there. That the result is that, the result of such hearing is that detachment from worldliness, so much so that we are, this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. So we get detachment from the materialistic way of living and we attain our real spiritual perfection. So everything about Lord and Lord devotees is not ordinary things, which are not actually not imaginary. People don't know the value of great devotees and these personalities. So they are actually Maha Bhagavatas. So these are called Mahajanas. So if you want to know the truth, we have to approach Mahajana. Mahajana ena gatastha pantaha. So that is the only solution for attaining our perfection of human life. And Prabhupada also brought us the knowledge of this transcendental from his books. And also he delivered this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also, which is also not ordinary, which is actually coming from spiritual world. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. So this is also, people don't know the value of mantras. Of course, they may understand some mantras are there, but the specific glory, specific position of Hare Krishna mantra is not known to many people. So they think this is also like any other mantra, any other ordinary mantra. Just like people think Narada is also like an ordinary man. So they don't see him as a spiritual person who is among us. He is traveling all over the universe. So they equate this Hare Krishna mantra also with other mantras. But that is not the position of Hare Krishna mantra. So the Hare Krishna mantra is Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, which is actually Chintamani. It is coming from spiritual stratum and it is descending in our sound. When we utter Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. That spiritual vibration is entering in this, our ordinary vibration. So it is no more ordinary vibration, which is spiritual vibration. So when we take advantage of the chanting, which is Yuga Dharma, by following the Srila Prabhupada instruction that if you chant this Hare Krishna mantra sincerely, seriously, then we are directly in touch with that spiritual vibration. So it is not no more ordinary sound, it is spiritual vibration. So we get all perfection, we get all purity by associating with spiritual Nama Prabhu. So we can take advantage of great personalities and especially Hare Krishna mantra in this age and get perfection of life. So and then we can become happy and satisfied and attain perfection in this very life. We'll end with this. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Jayad Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.